think if you look at 2014 and you look at the U.S.-led response to that invasion, to that aggression, one would most accurately describe it as incrementalist, in that we responded by verbally chastising Putin and his government for that invasion. We moved a limited number of forces, symbolic numbers of forces, a handful of aircraft. We had no major mobilizations. When we did move ground forces, we moved companies, 250 persons here, 250 persons there. This is purely symbolic when juxtaposed that against a 300,000 man Russian force just in its western military district, the western frontier of Russia. Those are our sanctions. Were not sectoral sanctions, they were targeted sanctions against selected individuals and selected companies, some of them which had very little activity in our own economies. For example, we targeted, rather than targeting the Russian energy sector and really saying we're not going to buy any more oil and any more gas, we targeted select individuals in the energy sector. We limited, didn't terminate, but limited certain long-term loans that could go to that sector. We targeted Russian armaments manufacturers. How many Western allies are buying Russian weapons? So these were symbolic versus sectoral. And this kind of incrementalism, I think, communicated a certain amount of hesitancy. I think it communicated a lack of unity, certainly a lack of determination. Maybe it even communicated a certain indifference to Ukraine's situation, all of which probably emboldened Putin to stick with his course and even escalate his activities against the West. And if you look at the activities against Western allies following the 2014 invasion of Ukraine, they did escalate. You saw an increase in air-to-air engagements, harassment of Western ships, an increase in the rhetoric and vociferousness of nuclear threats. You had the resumption of simulated nuclear bombing runs on the United States, on Canada. Even during the very day NATO held a summit in Europe in 2014, in September of 2014. You had a cross-border incursion, basically, in which the Russians snatched an Estonian law enforcement official and imprisoned him in Lubyanka prison for several months. So following our reaction to the Ukrainian invasion, the invasion of Ukraine, he actually incremented his aggressiveness. I mean, a classic step up was, or a prominent step up, was the striking of U.S.-supported forces in Syria with new Russian cruise missiles. That's taking on U.S. forces directly, or not U.S. forces, but U.S. friends and allies directly. That's an increase, an escalation in the provocativeness and aggressiveness of Russian activities in the face of this incremental response we've had to the invasion and now continued occupation of Ukrainian territory.